Getting old on the trail, what does that even mean? For me, it's more of a question of can I still put the miles in the way that I used to? Are my knees going to make it up that mountain? What I can tell you is the older that I get, the less I want to do it solo. Sure, I still love the solitude of the forest, but at the same time, having the company of people that have the same interests as I do, sharing the experience of a new plateau for the first time, a misty valley, or making it to the summit just to see the sunset, embracing the suck before a cold river crossing. The biggest thing of all that I enjoy about nature is the way you see it, the way that God intended you to. Welcome to the One Trail at a Time podcast. I am your host, Boogie. Today, we are embracing the suck of all of those things, including getting old and what changes to the way our mentality of even approaching long sections or how long we just want to be out there nowadays because it all changes. When I started doing this a few years ago, and I started doing this years ago, I had a different build. I weighed a little less. My knees were in better shape. They were starting to get bad then, but they definitely howl at the moon nowadays. So just looking at that standpoint, I used to be able to do a lot of miles at a time, and I enjoyed every minute of it, and I was able to recoup at night. Now I have to use a lot of supplements and just help my muscles regenerate quickly. I started this in my uh, early 30s. Now I'm in my early 40s. So it is definitely a difference in between those few years. Um, Over that time, I have done things to lighten my pack only because I had the money to do it. My vision or my mentality or the angle that I was going for was not ever to become a ultralight backpack or anything like that. I just wanted to be more efficient in my packing, pack size, and a little bit of pack weight, but not for the purpose of becoming a um a ultralight backpacker. I wanted lighter stuff, more efficient stuff, down under quilts, top quilts, lighter tents, that sort of thing. And one thing that I definitely have done to help ease my load is I bought a bike, and I started bike packing because of my knee issue. And that was what was one of the contributing factors why I stayed off the trail for so long. Um, because I was trying to arthritis is just a thing. It's in one leg and one knee, but it becomes inflamed at like the weirdest times, and that inflammation will definitely stop me in my tracks, especially if I can't make it to the summit that day. And had to give the medications time to do its thing, and now I'm doing better, and I'm out on the trail. Plus, I'm riding the bike more, so that exercise in the knee really really helps out. Also, with approaching the way that I camp, the different trails that I take, one of the biggest concerns that I have is, well, this summer, early spring, I would say early spring, I want to hike a section of the the Ozark Trail, and it's going from Tom Sock Mountain all the way to Mark Twain National Forest. And that's my goal, and I'm working towards it. And what I have noticed is I'm trying to manage my physical body weight and also the weight of my pack just to make sure I can have the advantage of my knees staying with me as long as I can. This trip is right around 100 miles, which isn't that long, and it's not like I'm trying to do that all in one day. So it'll be a several day hike, of course. But I've hiked a section of Tom Sock Mountain before, so I know how rough that terrain is. I am not sure what I am getting into all the way to Mark Twain's National Forest. And I'm trying to not overthink it, but at the same time, I don't want to underthink it and come up short. There's no shortage of fools out in the woods. Making stupid decisions can get you hurt or get you dead. So I don't want to say, hey, I'm old. I can't do it. John Muir was out there for a very long time, even getting up in age. No idea how his body felt, but he was still out there. I'm not exactly sure everything that he took out when he was there. Um, I have a pretty good pipe. I have a pretty good pack. I'm still using the Kelty Red Wing 50. That um, there are some lighter packs out there, but at this time, I just don't see myself investing in a new pack to save a pound. And it literally come down, the pack weighs about 3.5 pounds. For the style of backpack that I enjoy wearing, I enjoy packs that have multiple pockets so I can pack things a certain way versus a pack that is just a chute. So if I can ever get past that point, then I can look at packs that have a weight advantage. But at this time, I just can't see myself um, going that route. Plus, everything else that I use in my pack, my underquilt, top quilt, um, my tarp. I haven't changed out my hammock yet. I'm still using my original hammock, which is a Grand Trunk Skeeter Beater Pro. That's the name of it, and it has a little bit of weight to it. Uh, Cinch buckles I'm using. I changed out the suspension system, so the cinch buckles that I am using comes from Dutchware. So there are some things that I switched out on it to make it more efficient, quicker, easier. But hammock setups it by themselves can be heavier than tents, and I kind of went over this in the tent versus hammock podcast that was several weeks ago. One of the biggest advantages that I enjoy with the hammock is I definitely get a better night's sleep the older I get, and I guess it's even for the younger people as well. Whatever gets you the best night's sleep is the option that you should go with first. Now, um, terrain will dictate what you take out as well. So there's no way I would feel very comfortable taking a hammock into the desert. By definition of desert, it just doesn't provide the necessary tools to hang a hammock. Okay. And that's a place for a tent. That's where age and wisdom comes in. So I can still use that out on the trail. But is there really such a thing as being too old to be out on the trail? I feel like I can do this forever, but my knees may tell me something different when it's time to, hike up this hike up this hill and deal with these switchbacks. So I don't know, loose rocks, all that stuff. And having knee issues, or I'm pretty sure anybody out there that has any sort of joint pain, they know that them trying to protect themselves and not hurt themselves more from the pains that you're already having wears you out even more. It takes a lot of extra energy to protect yourself. And that's one thing that kind of gets into your head a little bit, which brings me back to one of my points in my statement that I made at the beginning of this podcast. That's also one of the reasons why I don't really like to hike solo. Just because, everyone kind of pushing towards the same objective definitely helps you out in the mental. Also, just talking to someone gets your mind off of the pain. So there are certain things that all play into a factor. When I was doing Krav Maga, my coach used to say on a regular basis, and it is true, your mind will give up before your body does. Having company allows your mind not to give up. It keeps the hope going. Simple conversations motivates you, engages you to where you don't think about certain things. And the biggest thing that conversation keeps you from thinking about is quitting. You will have a lot of, I've remembered first starting out, it was my first solo hike. I went out super heavy. Here's where the learning comes in. I went out super heavy. I was using 90% Walmart and Army surplus gear. I had a Marine ILBE backpack, and I still have this backpack to this day. And it is, as far as a bomb-proof backpack goes, I mean, it's great. The problem is it weighs 10 pounds. All right. So you have that 10 pounds on top of the sleeping bag, military sleeping bag. And I think I took out two parts of it, which was the green bag and the black bag. So it was two parts of the cold weather system that I took out. And I had a sleeping pad, I had a climate static V pad to put at the bottom of it. So all this weight is adding up. I'm already, just with the backpack alone, is 10 pounds. Now, mind you, with everything before food and water right now to this day, my base weight to my pack is 12.6 pounds. That's the base weight of my pack before food and water. My backpack at one point at the beginning of my journey was 10 pounds. Well, it's a little bit under 10 pounds, but it was very close to the 10-pound mark with this ILBE pack. So think about that. So throwing in the sleeping bag, the military sleep system with the stuff sack, and I was using the stuff sack as an idiot. I wasn't very smart in the beginning. The backpack, the I'm sorry, the stuff sack, the two bags that came in 6 or 7 pounds. Okay, it was in between 4 and 7 pounds. You get into your food and water. I'm pretty sure at that time I was overpacking in food. I'm pretty sure that I didn't go out there with any MREs, which I definitely thought about doing, but I had a lot of snacks. I had way too many snacks for the amount of time I was going to be out there. I had tons of jerky, a lot of sugary crap, which turns out to be a bad thing as well. I learned not to take a lot of sugar out there with me. because it just keeps you up at night. Sometimes you can be a little wound up, and eating that sugar doesn't give you doesn't give you the restful night sleep that you really wanted. You tend to, I tend to wake up often for no reason. So, what getting old on a trail means for me is a lot of decisions that I need to make on the type of trails that I hike on now, how long I'm going to be out there for, and just really knowing what my limitations are and not being stupid. And I'm hoping that me talking through this, I'm reinforcing those same concerns, not to get pig-headed and do something idiotic while I'm out there by myself. And I'm hoping me talking through this is stopping someone that may not be in the best of shape of doing something stupid. But I will also throw this out there. If you're looking at doing a trail and you need a trail buddy, like I need a trail buddy, hop in on this. Let's talk about it. Maybe there is a meetup in the future and we can plan some things out. We all can get old on the trail together. Until then, guys, live life one trail at a time. See ya.